You're watching Oregon's News Source Network, and this is News Source Today.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for waking up to News Source Today. I'm Nina Liu.
And I'm Damon Yanni. Today's Monday, October 9th. It's Thanksgiving Day in Canada. It's Columbus Day here in the U.S. And, of course, here at News Source 16, well, we have a new set for you this morning.
That's right. You have to commemorate the holidays with a brand new set.
Exactly.
And here are some of the stories we have coming up for you today. The driver of a sports car is lucky to be alive this morning. We'll show you where his car slid off the road and hit a guardrail. And some of you may be working out at home right now as you watch the show. And in our morning health report, we'll show you the benefits of working out from the comfort of your own home. And in our morning gardening report, what is a humble mum? It's essential to a pretty fall basket, and our garden expert will show you what it is.
We'll have more on those stories in just a moment. But first of all, let's talk about the weather for today. Obviously looking a lot different than what we had over the weekend. Take a look at our almanac for the 9th day of October. You can see that our record was 88 degrees back in 1979. Average is about 20 degrees below that. But guess what? We're not even going to be that warm today. We've got big changes from what we had over the weekend. Lots of sunshine Saturday and Sunday. Lots of clouds for your Monday and a couple raindrops to start off your week. We're looking for temperatures this morning in the low 50s. And it looks like we'll only be topping out in the low 60s later this afternoon. So obviously not as warm as we have been and pretty wet. We're looking for light rain at times all across western Oregon today. And in fact, it does look like it is going to stay soggy for the first couple days of the week. So we managed to squeeze out some of that nice summer-like weather the last couple days, but no such luck today.
That's right. What do you expect for a Monday, right?
Exactly. But, you know, for once, Mother Nature timed it right. We got the nice stuff off on the weekend, and we got the cool and wet stuff for the week. And if we have to get it, I guess that's the way it should be.
Exactly. It's nice when it works out. Well, one man is lucky to be alive this morning after a serious car accident east of Marcola. That's our top story today. This is what's left of the man's BMW Z3 after he lost control around a curve last night on Marcola Road and smashed into a guardrail.
He did not negotiate the corner there at Wendling and Marcola Road, and of course was wedged under the guardrail at impact. At this point, we believe that the vehicle was only occupied by the driver. We have not any indications of eyewitnesses or anyone else that may be involved.
The man was taken to the hospital. At this time, his identity is not being released. He was conscious when he left the scene of the accident. No word yet whether alcohol was involved. Well, police from 3 agencies, a helicopter, and SWAT team were all called to a standoff situation north of Eugene early Sunday morning. A 911 call brought deputies to this house on Meadowview Road at about 3 a.m. to look for a man with a rifle who had fired several shots during a dispute involving several people. The man ran into a field but was easily found with an infrared device on the sheriff's helicopter.
We're able to identify the heat signature from his body in a big stand of blackberry bushes out in this field. It is our understanding that he was armed with a rifle, so for those reasons we sat back and got the interagency SWAT team plugged into this.
And after about 7 hours, the man gave up himself. 28-year-old Roy William Gresser will probably be charged with menacing, assault, and recklessly endangering. No one was hurt during the incident. Well, Eugene police are continuing to tighten up their patrols of college parties. This weekend was no exception. On Saturday night, police received a noise complaint of a party that was out of hand. There were about 200 young people partying in this house near the U of O campus. Many jumped from a second-story balcony or ran out of the back when the officers approached. Others threw objects at the police, including a brick. One partygoer was arrested after he struck one officer and sprayed another with beer. Police on party patrol arrested 2 people over the weekend and handed out 46 citations for minors in possession of alcohol. Well, the Eugene City Council is considering passing a law to attack the problem of wild parties through the host's pocketbook. If the police are called out twice within 90 days to a loud party, the host would be charged up to $1,000 to cover the city's expenses. Here's what some of your friends and neighbors had to say about the idea.
It sounds reasonable as to they are being called out for this disruptive behavior. I mean, if it's causing that much of a problem, then yeah, I think the host probably should.
I think it'd be too difficult for anybody who's hosting a party to be that capable of screening who's present or their behavior.
No, I don't think it matters. I think that they'll always have big parties. I mean, that's what Eugene's all about, it seems like, you know.
The Eugene City Council will hold a public hearing on the proposed host responsibility ordinance tomorrow night. The hearing begins at 7:30 at the Eugene City Hall. In other news this morning, patients of Alzheimer's disease in Western Oregon got a boost from walkers, runners, strollers, and rollers Sunday afternoon. During the 2000 Memory Walk, Stroll and Roll, the annual fundraiser for the Alzheimer's Association, hundreds of feet walked thousands of yards to raise awareness. This year was the first time the event was held outdoors.
We've usually not wanted to take the risk of being outdoors for fear it might rain, and this year EWAB was gracious enough to have us here at the plaza, and we did have room indoors in case it did rain for older people who should not be out in the weather.
The Memory Walk is expected to raise about $30,000 to help the estimated 9,000 people who suffer from Alzheimer's disease in Coos, Curry, Douglas, and Lane counties. Time right now is 5:37. Let's check in with your morning sports report. Jeff Smith has the latest on the National Baseball playoffs.
Well, good Monday morning to you. Thanks for getting up this early to check out a Monday morning edition of Sunrise Sport.
All right, thanks a lot, Jeff. Well, at least OSU is still holding on to the top 25 spots. So.
Yeah, that's the consolation prize,
Exactly.
I guess, but a tough break over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, a lot of disappointed fans. Well, coming up in your morning health report, is getting to the gym for a workout a pain in the you-know-what? Well, we have an alternative for you. Bring the gym to your home. More on that after the break.
And you'll definitely want to be heading to the gym as opposed to exercising outside today because it's looking a little bit wet for you. We'll talk about your Monday forecast right after the break. Right now it's 5:40 and it's about 54 degrees out there. We'll be right back.
You are watching Oregon's News Source Network, KMTR News Source 16. More coverage you can count on.
I'm proud to
Welcome back, everyone. Time right now is 5:42. It's time to take a look at weather with Damon.
Oh, that's right. And tell you what, the winds of change are blowing this morning, and they're blowing in a cold front. Right here, you can see we've got Saturday. And besides the raindrops, cool temperatures only warming up into the low to mid 60s this week. Overnight temperatures are going to be into the mid 40s. So it is going to feel a lot more like fall than it did over the weekend.
Okay, as long as we don't start feeling like winter just yet, I think we'll be all right.
We'll hold that off for a couple more weeks at least. That's what we're planning on anyway.
Okay. Well, if you're too tired or busy to go to a health club, why not bring the club to you?
Well, as Lucky Severson reports, when it comes to working out, many people say there's no place like home.
Well, that sounds good. David, I'm Lucky Severson reporting.
So whether you work out at home or at the gym, just start working.
There you go. You have to take that first step, I guess.
That's right. Well, coming up in your morning garden report, now that fall is here, stay tuned for our garden expert Steve Lorton, who has a great idea for the season.
And we'll take a look at the forecast to let you know how much gardening you want to get done today. Right now it's 5:48 and it's about 54 degrees outside. We'll be right back. So today it looks like you just might have to trade in the sunglasses for the umbrella because a little bit more traditional fall weather headed our way.
Yeah, not the kind of trade-off we like to make, but I guess we'll have to do it.
I guess we'll just have to put up with it, that's right.
Grin and bear it. Well, if you're looking for a pretty fall basket for the holidays, our garden expert Steve Lorton suggests a humble mum.
So the question is, what's that? Well, he explains in this morning's garden report.
And what I want to talk about today is the humble mum. These things are available almost a month. The humble mum.
The humble mum, there you go, pretty exciting for you.
Yeah, it's very colorful, quite pretty.
Well, for more gardening tips, all you have to do is go to sunset.com and lots of ideas for you.
That's right, and sticking with the gardening theme, many people gathered at the fairgrounds over the weekend in search of something handmade to add a splash of color to their gardens and their homes. We'll have the details when we return.
And we'll take another look at your Monday forecast. Right now the time's 5:53 and it's about 54 degrees outside. And as we head to break, here's a look at the final numbers on Wall Street for Friday.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. The time right now is 5:55, and Damon and I are just kicking it in our new location here.
That's right, pretty comfortable way to start the morning.
You have to find some way to entertain yourselves, you know, because rain is coming.
Oh, yeah, things are looking different. Even though the set is different, well, I'll tell you what, outside it's different too. Let's take a look at our satellite map right now. We got lots of clouds spilling into western Oregon, and In fact, we are going to be seeing plenty of rain as we head further into the day as well. That's because that's a cold front you're seeing there just offshore. And as it makes its way inland today, well, it's going to bring us a bit of a change in the weather pattern. We're looking for rain at times on the coast today, and in fact, by the afternoon, there's a chance of a thunderstorm. In fact, we've already had a thunderstorm reported earlier this morning on the south coast in Brookings, so that could be an indication of what's to come for the central coast later on today. Temperatures not all that warm, at least compared to where we were over the weekend, warming up near 60 this afternoon. Inland valleys will be in the low to mid 60s, and it's also going to be cloudy and wet. We're looking for rain at times as we head into our Monday. And up in the Cascades, no exception to the rule. Lots of rain, near 50 degrees at Willamette Pass. Snow levels are dropping, in fact, all the way down to 7,000 feet. So things are looking a little bit more like fall than they did during the second part of last week. Tuesday, we're going to hang on to the showers. Wednesday and Thursday will start to dry out a little bit as a weak ridge of high pressure builds, but it's not going to keep us dry for long. Possibility of more of the wet stuff Friday and Saturday. Temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 60s for this coming week, so we're running a little bit below average. But on the positive side, we're done with those cold mornings for a little while. Last week, obviously, we were dipping into the 30s just about every day. This week, we'll be bottoming out in the in the mid to upper 40s. So a little bit more comfortable when you step out the door, but not as nice in the afternoons. Have a little bit of a trade-off going there.
There's always that trade-off, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks, Damon. Well, the season has changed from summer to fall, so we may be saying goodbye to the warm, sunny weather for a few long months. But some people have actually added some color in their gardens and homes that may help them make it through the gray. Local clay artists put their work up for sale at the Lane County Fairgrounds over the weekend for the Clay Fest 2000 show. Fans of fine pottery art found it easy to find something they liked.
Probably these real pretty glass vases that are just around the corner.
You thinking about buying anything?
Oh, knowing me, I'm a shopper. I'll probably buy something.
The pottery included almost anything you could think of, from sculptures to tiles to kitchenware. So if you broke a few dishes, washing dishes or something like that, you could have picked some up.
Hey, find some replacements out of the fairgrounds, right?
Exactly. Well, coming up after the break, we'll have our top stories for you this morning. When the police are called to a noisy party more than once, should the host of the party pay the price? We'll show you what some of your friends and neighbors have to say about a new law that could soon go into effect. And Firestone is currently replacing problem tires. We'll let you know how far along they are in their efforts, and we'll also let you know if their problems are over.
And we'll take another look at that forecast and we'll let you know when the rain's going to get here. Right now, the time's 5:58 and it's about 54 degrees outside. We'll be right back.
News Source Today continues with Nina Liu, Damon Yanni, and more coverage you can count on.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning. We hope you like the new digs. We've got some new rain to go with it.
Oh, yeah. Change in the set, change in the weather pattern. It just all goes hand in hand on a Monday. Let's take a look right now at some of the current conditions out there, at least in the North Bend Coos Bay area. Right now, temperature is doing a lot better than they were in the mornings last week. We're currently sitting at 54 degrees, relative humidity 93%, and winds are calm, but not all. Now, the hearing begins at 7:30, and that's at the Eugene City Hall.
And turning now to international news, there are less than 12 hours to go now before the Israelis and the Palestinians may launch a full-scale war.
As Jim Hanchett reports, the U.S. is urging both sides to put down their weapons.
With that siren.
Well, President Clinton has been working the phones, talking with Barack and Arafat around the clock. Now, aides to President Clinton say he has proposed convening a Middle East summit in Egypt as early as this week.
Well, Bridgestone Firestone Tire is nearing the 2/3 mark. In replacing those recalled tires, it's believed to contribute to accidents, which killed more than 100 people.
But as NBC's Hillary Lane reports, the company's problems are far from over.
Attorneys
Some scary moments on that day in history. Another one of those moments, everyone was glued to their TV set to find out what was going to happen.
Definitely. Some very scary moments, and it looks like we've got some scary moments coming up in weather.
If you want to look at it that way, yeah, things are looking a little bit different as we start out our Monday. We'll take a look at our forecast coming up right after the break. Right now it's 6:08 and it's about 54 degrees out there. We'll be right back.
You are watching Oregon's News Source Network, KMTR News Source 16. More coverage you can count on.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Time right now is 6:11, and if you don't feel like taking a peek outside the weather window today, here's Damon to do it for you.
That's right. We've already done it, and we've got some bad news to tell you. That is, at least if you like to hang on to the sunshine, it's bad news because lots of clouds out there and before Friday and Saturday. So while we had the dry weather for Friday Night Football last week, this next week looks like probably not. Going to have to take the parkas, take the rain gear there to keep yourself dry because wet stuff's coming back. Obviously, those dry spells are going to be fewer and far between.
Oh, exactly. But this weekend, though, the big U of O game, a lot of fans are going to be drenched, you say?
Maybe not drenched, but definitely spritzed. Let's just say that.
Okay, not as severe. Well, ahead in sports, Jeff Smith has highlights of National Baseball playoffs, and we hear from the Oregon State Beaver coach and players on their close battle in Seattle this past weekend.
Right now the time's 6:14 and it's about 54 degrees outside. We'll take a look at your bus stop weather when we come back. Week obviously looking a lot different than how we finished out last week. Had a taste of summer over the weekend, but it's going to feel like fall for you first couple days of this coming week.
Oh yeah, it's going to taste like fall, which is not too tasty.
Not very much. Don't like the taste, but I guess we're going to have to get used to it.
Exactly. Well, the Oregon State Beavers had a pretty scary game this past weekend.
That's right, almost a major upset. Jeff Smith hears from the team and has baseball playoff action in your morning sports report.
Well, good Monday morning to you. Thanks for